Hello and welcome to Chapman's Corner. Today will be a slight change of pace to my usual F1000 videos because at the weekend at Donnington Park I raced in the BMW 1 Series 90-minute race with 49 cars on the grid and a driver change pit stop. My friend Jake Muncey had never done a race before, so we decided to split the drive, 45 minutes each.
But yeah, we just saw there Bert Chapman out of the race. He's also racing in 116 Trophy this weekend, so he's competing in the fastest cars and the slowest cars on a race weekend, which is quite an unusual thing to do.
Certainly is.
He's never done a competitive race before, but has done a lot of track days and has a lot of experience driving high-powered cars. Not as well as me though. We chose the BMW 1 Series because we both owned a lot of BMWs, so we're familiar with the rear-wheel drive, and they've got sentimental value too. The racing is extremely close as they're low-powered, often going into corners 3, 4 or even 5 wide. So it's all about momentum, getting the corners right, and carrying enough speed to get up the hills. Because the racing's so close, there's often dings, knocks, small crashes, so cars often come away with scratches, dents, but these are just part of racing. We were signing a contract as this was an arrive and drive, so the pressure was on. Jake and his girlfriend were putting a lot of pressure on me to get insurance, but having been on a racetrack before, I knew that that wasn't really going to be worth it because of the high premium and the ridiculous excesses. The BMW 116 is a 1.6 130 brake horsepower, 1100 kilo car. It has been stripped out and had a roll cage put in it, this pink one here. So that's why it only weighs 1100 kilos. The roll cage adds stability. They've also got M3 wishbones and a load of other stuff that I'm really not sure. There was a 25-minute quali session, which me and Jake split. Quali was a weird one. There was a yellow flag and safety car. I was in the car for the safety car. Well, look what happened.
I'm at the back of a very long queue.
So I can see the green light flashing. So I go. Feeling like, yeah, first to react, try and gap some of these cars. But no one else seems to be moving. And this green car in front is warming up its tyres still, so I go past. And then another. And I'm starting to go, what's going on here? Especially this guy, which is a little bit dangerous, to be honest. If the light's green, we should be going. So yeah, obviously I started to doubt myself, you know, new series, maybe the rules are different.
Green flag racing, is it racing or back to the start line?
In our briefing they explained about the safety car going back over the start line, but, you know, it shouldn't be just for quality.
It's too late, we've got to get done for that.
As Jake's never raced before, I thought it was only fair to let him do the race start. I know, very noble of him. The race starts where all the action happens, a rolling start where you're going into turn 1 with 48 other cars. I wanted him to get the full experience. I knew his mind was going to be blown. Driving around track on a test day or on a track day is a very different experience to racing against others. You can't beat a real race situation. As it's a 90-minute race, I'm not going to bore you with all of it. I've taken all the highlights, all the overtakes, all the near misses and included it in here. Let's see how Jake got on the race start, and you'll see our driver change halfway through.
On the 15th row of the grid, it's the 3-2-1 car, started by Jake Muncey. On, and they are going to go out, are they? Waiting for them to go out, still waiting, and out they go. And it's a good start there by Abraham. He tries to repel James Dunn, who was attacking him down the inside line. You've got James Waring on the outside line. You've got the Treble 8 car with Nigel Greensall aboard trying to go around the outside as well. Matt Priestwood is somewhere near where he was supposed to be on the grid originally.
Oh dear.
So they turn their way through, and James Dunn has collected Nigel Greensall, and both of them have gone off into the gravel trap down the through the crater curves for the first time. Matt Priestwood up to third position. It's Jack Godden in fourth place as they head now through the old hairpin. This big field of cars turning their way through the old hairpin. It looks like the front half of the field has got through their safety, but not necessarily through Redgate Corner. We'll see if either of those cars have managed. But in the meantime, and now they do get the safety car lighting panels and safety car boards being displayed, so no overtaking. Now these are...
So let's watch that from Jake's view. In my opinion, he's left way too much of a gap here. I'd be pretty much very high in second gear, ready to shift to third. Want as much drive as possible. Loving this, the BMWs going nearly 5 wide there. If you look to the left, there's a slight contact at the rear of the green car. I told Jake just to try and stay up the inside here, like keep it hooked to the right. Try and avoid going around the outside, just because if people understeer off, you're in trouble, and if people come into contact, you're in trouble. Rocks from the collision hitting the windscreen, so he's keeping hooked to the right here, because obviously the old hairpin is a right-hander, so if you can try and stay at the inside of people here, you're going to be in a good place. He's doing well for his good first race start here, getting a bit close. Watching the car 2 in front off onto the grass, so he manages to go up round the outside of him. Still on the inside of the next right-hander here. If you look on the left, there is a yellow flag and a safety car sign, but obviously in the intensity of racing you probably aren't going to see it for a little while, so he tries to go up the inside. Nice little move, to be fair to him. And then a load of the cars are slowing down there. There's another safety car sign on the left there. So I think everyone starts to realise here that it's yellows, and Jake backs off. Again, first race, it's very intense, you're not going to really see that, so nothing, no harm, no foul. Letting 2 guys back by.
Wait, what's going on? I just gave up the positions back.
So going back round, got the tractor out, trying to take off one of their cars. Going back round again, the second car has already been dragged off, so making good time, but unfortunately they came back round, and so this is a very poor restart. Green light's gone, they should already be flooring on the throttle. He's left a huge gap, unfortunately, so yeah, bit disappointing as a restart, but a bit further later he's managed to catch up to them. They're in a pack, so they're going to be battling, so he's done well to catch up, and now he's getting past this DTO car. Big mistake there by Jake onto the gravel. I've got to give him massive credit here though, because he manages to keep it moving. He doesn't get stuck in the kitty litter, and he gets back on track. He might have lost a few places, but offs happen in races, especially in your first race. It's going to happen. So fair play to him. That was actually his best corner usually. So got it going again. The sound of the gravel in the car. Come back in. Apparently our team manager radioed him at the time he was going around the corner, so he's blaming that as the distraction, which, you know, not sure if I'm going to allow it, but you know, it happens. So he's come back in. There's a little damage to the floor, but not a lot, and the team were brilliant. They didn't, you know, charge us for this. You know, slight damage like this, you know, bits of plastic, bit of dents, it's wear and tear of the car.
Cars being held until they get to the 60-second mark, of course, when it'll be now back out into the race.
Peter Keen's in for a second.
So now Jake's getting pushed back, and the rule is you're not allowed to hit reverse in the pit lane. So guess what that Muppet did? Look at them, they're worried, because as soon as you see reverse lights, that's a penalty. But Jake got away with it, got very lucky there, because you're not allowed to use the engine to drive in reverse. It has to be pushed back in the pit lane because it's so busy. So a little while later, Jake's following this car, who we are definitely battling, and I think Jake took offence to him. Ooh, very, very lucky there. So we didn't take insurance out for this. Jake and his girlfriend were pushing me very hard to get insurance, and I said, no, it's racing, it'll be fine. But yeah, in that moment, I'm sure he almost regretted not getting the insurance at that point. But he avoided it, good lad, and now he's chasing him up the Cradle curves. And he's got a good run on him, and he's going for it down the inside. You've got to give him credit to have the balls to go there, but unfortunately he just doesn't carry enough speed through the corner here, doesn't manage to get the switch back, but he's holding on to the back of him. This is one of Jake's best corners when he's not going into the gravel. On the throttle nice and early, you can see the momentum, you can see him gaining on him. A little bit early, pulled out, but it works. And he gets the move done. A few laps later, Jake's following car 42 and he gets a better run out of the final corner. So, like two snails passing. He's going down the inside, squeezes him a little, so he's getting quite close to the grass, so you've got to give Jake the credit for going for the move there and getting it done. A couple more laps later, he's following this novice, a DTO car, again with a really good run, pops it out. So there is a second one there. A bit later on the brakes. Obviously a very different line to the DTO car, but managed to keep the throttle on. Thought I'd leave this in here just so you can see the sort of how you actually deal with these corners in a BMW. Jake's obviously got more pace, braking a little later. Gets it rotated nicely and should just be on the power here. So a nice simple move up the outside. Obviously there's always a danger someone's going to move over on you, but respectful driving there. Hats off to the DTO driver. Now you don't really want to be on the inside here for the right hander because you're just going to... He takes a while to get into gear but gets the move done. So another few laps later, this is one of the lead cars I believe. But it's time for Jake to come in and it's time for the driver change, so that will be me getting into the car finally after 45 minutes, obviously following the speed limit of the pit lane here.
Okay.
And in the blue there is me waiting a bit awkwardly, ready to get going. Because of the roll cage, the helmet, these cars are quite difficult to fold yourself into, so you need help getting in and out of them. But I'm in the car, getting the belts done up by Caroline there. We were also doing a battery change on the GoPro, of course. So you have to be in here for 60 seconds. We managed to get everything done in time, steering wheel back on. So push back, I didn't hit reverse unlike Jake. And then tried to do a little wheel spin out. That looked pretty cool.
321 is getting a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits. That's the Bert Chapman and Jake Muncey car. Bert Chapman who's also out in F1000 action this weekend. Change of pace for him today.
So to be fair to Jake, he got a couple of pens, but I only made it worse, so that 10-second penalty was actually myself. He got a black and white warning and a 5-second penalty, so me getting the next track limits was of course a straight 10-second penalty, so I didn't have much room for error there. So I'm battling this blue car in front. We are competing, I believe they finished a couple of places behind us in the end. So my first on-track battle. Obviously unlike the race start where you're in a massive pack and a massive group, I don't really have many cars to race here, so trying to get this move done as quick as possible, but he got a decent exit there. I'm pretty good through the chicane, obviously used to carrying a lot more speed in the F1000, so typically did pretty well out of there, so I've got a good run and we're going to go for it down into the GP hairpin. He's hanging around on the outside, so yeah, fortunately the ABS didn't kick in too hard there. Much prefer it without ABS, it's horrible, I wish we could turn it off. But he's on the outside of me, I know the camera doesn't show it, but he's on the outside. Next time I will have the camera further inside the car, but we couldn't figure it out. Crunching into second gear there. He's still on the inside of me, so you can just see him poking along there, but we've got a good run, so we're going to get the move done down the main straight. A little while later, let one of the faster guys go through. As we qualied around 25th, I just want to show that there were much faster guys than me. A lot of them running in 201s, whereas I was doing mid 203s. Now we're following a different novice, a DTO car. I was not as confident on the brakes as I am in the F1000. This have ABS, so it interferes with my braking, whereas the F1000 there's no ABS. Much more feel for the pedal. So I'm going to overtake that green car, and I know it looks far back. I want you to bear with me just to show you how fun these curves are, and just showing how much more speed carrying through does. And this is what people say about getting the drive up the hill, making sure that you're getting the momentum, carrying as much speed as possible, because you can see the huge amount of difference it makes. A little bit late here, but we're going to go for the lunge down the inside, and they back off and we get the move done. And again, just showing there was a faster guy behind me the whole time, so letting him by, or getting overtaken, however you want to say it. Another one of the front runners, the top 10, getting by, screwing up the gear change. So a few laps later, we actually managed to get a better drive out of Old Hairpin. So getting a lot more speed coming up the hill. So he dives up the inside, and just like karting, you want to follow through. This guy comes across, but we managed to hold our position and get the move done. I was a bit worried because I saw him go off in testing on the Friday into the gravel down here. So this is a bit interesting. A few laps later, got a much better run, and I'm actually overtaking the guy who finished P8 in the end. He was, I think, qualified 7 or 8. So we get around him, and we're following one of the DTO novices. And again, we're just going to go for a lunge up the inside, just keeping an eye on him. Coming up alongside him. Not going to make the move. We're going to wait for the exit of this one. On the power earlier. Get him nice and close. Proper racing that. So on lap 35 now. Not long left to go. We're following this silver car, who we are battling. We're braking quite early, so we're carrying more speed through the Old Hairpin. Getting quite close to them here, trying to look for a way around the outside. Slow progress getting around them. It's very different in the BMWs, just keeping the foot pin, just know it. You have to do all the timing, knowing that you're going to end up getting there before them, but you just have to trust that it's going to work. You haven't got the power to get you around. And then on the penultimate lap, we've got a yellow flag showing, so I know I'm carrying way more speed, but I'm not going to be able to overtake. So I'm lifting off the throttle a little, but I can see a green flag in the distance, so I go onto the throttle faster, so I'm carrying more speed and not illegally overtaking, getting past them once I've got past the green flag, and we're good up the inside. So up to P24 on track, where we crossed the line. Was trying to get a bit of wheel spin, maybe a bit of drift out, but unfortunately we got a 15-second time penalty, as we already said. But pretty good performance considering we finished 24 on track when we started P29. We ran with Simple Racing with Lee, Caroline and Stuart, and they were absolutely awesome. They took care of everything. Make sure that if you want to enter the BMW 116 trophy or sprint races, you get in touch with these guys. They were brilliant, really knowledgeable about the recently built car, and were just great fun. Caroline usually drives the car, hence all the pink. I'll add a link below to Simple Racing and the contact information if you want to race with the team. I'd highly recommend it. It's a great series. with really close racing, huge grids, and really reasonable rates.